Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah. So reading, continuing on the social etiquettes, Adab al-Mu'ashara, just read briefly a few things, inshallah, from here. When using the washroom, do not keep it necessarily occupied, as this results in others being inconvenienced and for not being able to access it. A person who observed teaching, I had a friend who used to read magazines, car magazines, in the bathroom, but anyway, a person who observed teaching istinja in a public space, he was advised that matters of personal hygiene, such as istinja, should be taught in private. On one occasion, the author needed a book which belonged to the madrasa and has been trusted to a person who was away. He went to look for the book at his friend's usual place, but couldn't find it. By chance, someone's gaze fell upon a student who was sitting studying. The student had placed that book on the floor to be used as a pillow, which is why no one could find it. The student was reprimanded for two reasons. Firstly, it is not allowed to use other people's belongings without permission. And secondly, because of this action, several people were distressed for some time searching for the book. After completing a task at the request of someone, inform them immediately of the outcome so that they are not left waiting, resulting in inconvenience. A fan operator should be conscious of several etiquettes. What's a fan operator? Maybe in the old days. Firstly, dust. Someone maybe have, like in the old days, maybe like there's only certain people that are allowed to touch the buttons. Maybe.
Fan operator.
Yeah. It could be. Yeah. I'm assuming that it's someone was firstly dust the fans well with your hands or cloth, because it gathers dust and sometimes particles of soil or pebbles. This could hurt somebody if it flies into the eyes. Secondly, hold the fans in such a position that it is not directly on the head, or is it so high that air does not reach the person. Also, do not wave it so vigorously and it causes discomfort. This is, yeah. So you're right. Third, bear in mind, so this book is written more than 100 years ago, so that's why. Third, bear in mind not to inconvenience those sitting around you. Fourth, if the master wishes to remove the fan first so that it does not strike him. Fifth, if anybody takes out a paper, etc., stop the fan. Right? Although this relates to fans which are operated manually, there's a footnote, Sheikh Ibrahim, who came here last year, it is applicable to electrical fans and air conditioning units in relation to vents, position, direction, and speed. Generally, whenever there is a need or desire to assist someone in any way, ensure that your assistance does not in fact cause inconvenience. Ensure the means or tools to assist that person are in sound condition. Do not be overzealous in your approach and do not trouble in the slightest those around you and the ones you serve. So like if you want to do khidmah, think about it, how it will actually affect the other people. Like I remember once when they made the wudu area, the new wudu area, like they made the hand dryers. So when the brother brought me in, I was very happy. Alhamdulillah, Allah reward them for the intention. And I said, how do I dry my beard in it? Because they removed the paper towels, they removed the, if you remember, we had the towels that used to get washed and whatnot. It wasn't a bad system, it was a pretty good system.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, so we got used to it, I think we got comfortable, and then they removed it, they didn't put paper towel. And I think they put it later on, paper towels and whatnot. But at the time they said, so after, we're not, it's not a normal bathroom. We're not just washing our hands, we're washing our arms and feet. And so then it came out that machine is only made for drying hands. It's nice. It's in Melbourne Airport. It's top of the range, Dyson, whatever, But so I just looked. I said, how do I dry my beard? And they just looked like blink, Like the intention is well-meaning. Obviously, it's trying to do khidmah, but it wasn't so. We need a special machine for our feet and another one for our for the face. It is sometimes difficult to accept the gift from individuals who attach to it requests, such as requests for dua, favors, taking someone on as a student, and so on. One must be cautious of this. Gifts should be given to increase love. What's the hadith? Tahadu, tahabu. That exchange gifts, it will increase love. Right? That's the reason why gifts are given. But sometimes, if there's a need to make a request, then do not accompany the request with a gift. Requests should be made in such a way that any gifts given are not assumed to have been offered for purpose of the request, and vice versa. On one occasion, before the morning prayer, a man filled a vessel with water for me and placed the miswak, the Shaykh is saying, placed the miswak near it, thinking I would need to perform wudu. By chance that day, I was already in a state of wudu, so I walked straight into the masjid. As I reached the masjid, I happened to glance at the vessel, and after recognizing my miswak, I understand that somebody had placed the vessel there for me. I asked who had placed it there, and they, after persistently asking, the man came forward. At that moment, briefly, and after completing the salat in explicit details, he won't let it go, the Sheikh. He said at the beginning, he goes, I ask forgiveness. But if I don't spell it out, people are not going. There's some people they're real murabbis, they'll do tarbiyah. You had placed this vessel here for me, assuming I will need to perform wudu, without considering I may not need to. Ultimately, your prediction was incorrect, as I had wudu. If I had not seen the water and you are not there, this vessel would have remained full and nobody would have used it. Firstly, it looks as though somebody has placed it there for himself to use. Secondly, the miswak on it naturally would stop anybody else from using it. Since nobody is able to use it, you have in fact held something back that was meant to be available for everybody. How can this be permissible? This was regarding the water vessel. As for the miswak, you unnecessarily, you got a lecture, the brother, unnecessarily moved it from its secure place. Furthermore, you left it where it could be taken by anyone without arranging for it to be put back. This deed consists of many impermissible elements and inconveniences. Hence, in future, please do not do this again unless you either ask permission first, or you can see me preparing for wudu. That way would create ease and comfort rather than difficulty. Note, this is similar to the case of innovations which outwardly appear to be acts of obedience, like bid'at, like in deen. Right? There's bid'ah in like dunya things like development, and innovation in English is a good thing. Like if you make new innovations, scientific, do something that will make people's life easier, or help the scientific knowledge progress. So these are something that are praiseworthy, they're good, inshallah, and with the right intention they're rewarded as well. But then there's bid'ah in deen, like you're making something that is part of deen which is not part of deen, and those things. So he said that in the note that bid'at, this has this problem as well. People want to do good, but then they in reality are detrimental, which those with limited knowledge are unable to comprehend. In the above incident, for example, the individual did not see the troubles caused by his act of assistance. When intending to assist others, ensure the assistance is needed and clarify what you intend to do to avoid unforeseen issues. And the last, just read this last point, 2 points. Once a student sent his classmate to a teacher with a note specifying the need for clothes. When asked why he didn't come himself, he claimed he was busy with another job. This is problematic in the following ways. Firstly, he showed disrespect by not coming himself, because in madrasas, he had students coming from very poor areas. My father, Rahimahullah, said when he studied madrasa, he said we were so poor, because he was an orphan as well, that we used to go to the tailor, collect the materials on the floor, and we used to stitch it on our clothes. Our clothes were patched up from tailor's leftovers, offcuts. So he said that first, this is problematic in the following ways. Firstly, he showed disrespect by not coming himself. Secondly, he was not shy to ask directly, but rather was just too busy, which also shows the need was not urgent. Lastly, the fact that he asked someone to do the task for him shows that he's willing to accept servitude from others. Khidmah, he's accepting khidmah, made someone else a khadim for himself, which is immodest. It is of utmost importance to see to our own needs personally, if they are that pressing, and we should make time to tend to them ourselves. Furthermore, we should never ask our equals or elders to complete lowly tasks on our behalf, since this is disrespectful. And the Sheikh translator put a note: you should not send a message to anybody through an intermediary unless you feel it is necessary. It is better to speak directly to whoever you wish to speak to. If you cannot do so in person, a phone call is more respectful than sending an email or a text. And the last point for tonight: on several occasions, many people have been asked to speak clearly so that they are not misunderstood. Right? Many people have been asked to speak clearly so that they're not misunderstood. So anyway, Shaykh is giving about how interactions should be. Islam, and he gives all the ayat and hadith, and this is based on that. And the root of that is that to be considerate of others, obviously. And he said, and where the place there's no idha, like there's no harm to others, because then that place becomes like Jannah. When the people are so considerate of each other, that he said, because at the place where that happens is Jannah. So if a people are like that, a society becomes like that, they're so particular, tarbiyah is done to such a level that they don't, by their tongue or by their hand, they don't harm anybody in any shape or form, then like you're already sort of like living in Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give a taste of that in this dunya, inshallah in akhirah. Ameen ya rabbil alameen. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa salamun ala mursaleen. Jazakumullah khair.